Hello and welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining us today. Are you buying misery? Would you know it if you were? I think everybody knows the basics of what people mean when they talk about buying your freedom. It's this idea of passive income, money that just comes in. It's having enough money that you don't need to work. It's about having all of the things in life that let you do what you want to do and buy what you want to buy and not have to worry about producing anymore. That's freedom because we don't have to work. We don't have to show up at the 9 to 5 and we have everything that we want and everything is nice and it's just coming to us. But on that journey, especially if you're trying to get there fast, you might actually, instead of buying freedom, you're just buying misery. You are trading your time, your resources, your energy, your very life for what you think is freedom, but it's really just a treadmill because it keeps going. You make more money, your lifestyle increases. That money's not going into savings to help you get out of it. It's helping you feel good now. That freedom number, it's tied into comparison so much. And that's where we buy the most misery is when we start doing things based off comparison. Now, I know I talk a lot on my channel and in my content about the average person. There's an average salary, an average house size, an average car payment, all of these things. These are the average, what the average people are doing. And I mentioned it in the last video, you don't have to be average in that sense. But that benchmark, and I'm very guilty of this myself, that benchmark of average, it isn't so much a goal to get to and to maintain, it's a goal to exceed the average because we want to be a little better than those around us. It's a really natural feeling that keeping up with the Joneses, but I don't think anybody's actually realized the Joneses are broke. The Joneses are not doing well. They're buying that same misery. They're on that same treadmill for the stuff. Now, something that's really brought this to my attention is, you know, in in jobs, whenever we're looking and considering more than one job, money typically is the first thing that comes to mind. Can I make more money? Is there a better title? And let me tell you, even in jobs where I'm not looking at changing them in the past, I'm known to just work my butt off to the point of burnout and misery for that promotion, for that little bit of raise. But in the last few years, I've come to find out that not all compensation in work is dollars and cents. It really is about a balance and not buying misery, not sacrificing more of my life for a little more money or a little more prestige. Because life is actually the important part. And here's the thing, as our income tends to increase, so do our bills, so do our expectations. That lifestyle creep really starts to come up. And all of a sudden, that extra money isn't going into a savings account to chop years off of your estimated retirement date or anything like that. No, it's going towards a little nicer car or a little nicer house or just eating out a little bit more because you just simply don't have the energy to cook. I know exactly what every bit of that is like. I'm not I'm not immune from those wants and desires and fall for them on a regular basis myself. But we really do have to watch out for buying misery because it never is just the opposite of buying freedom. Nobody goes out and intentionally tries to buy misery. It's normally a byproduct of trying to get to that freedom point and just missing the mark, losing their way, seeing something shiny and going after it instead of just staying the course. Longevity, stability, happiness, those really are the pieces that we should be working towards. Those are the things that actually make happiness happen. I've said it in a couple of other videos as well that, you know, I've realized in my career that there is a certain dollar amount in my field that when I pass that amount, I get more stress, burnout's going to come faster. I work harder. I'm taking those calls after hours. I'm working the weekends. But really, if I'm okay just settling for a little bit less money, normally it means a little bit less of a title. And it's not as monumental as I once thought it would be. That little bit of decrease in responsibility and money gave me a lot more freedom, which made me better at my job for one thing and helped me get those raises, but it also helped me balance out my life. And it meant that I didn't get burnt out as fast. And it meant that I was paying attention to the things that I knew were most important because I hate to break it to everyone here, but if you haven't noticed already, there is no safety in the workplace anymore. And the one quote that I saw it in a meme one time, I couldn't tell you where to credit it to, but it went like this. It just said, your boss and your coworkers will never remember all those times that you stayed late, but your kids will. And that just hit so much deeper because that's what buying misery looks like. When your kids remember all that hard work that you put in that took you away from them, took you away from life. So I hope that if you're on this search to buy freedom, obtain happiness, that you don't look at it as buying it, because happiness and freedom are not necessarily things that you can purchase, you work towards. Because it's not about just making more money and having the better title. Sure, that stuff helps, but it also has so much to do with just minimizing your needs, minimizing the amount of money that you have to spend to survive and live well and to save, because that in the end makes as much and maybe even more of a difference than making more money in the end. Because really, think about this: you can make $200,000 a year, save 10%, have the house, have the car. Sure, you've got the equity and all of that. But whenever you retire, all of those bills keep going. The house still has upkeep and it's going to cost more. Where if you are making $100,000, saving 20%, and you had a lifestyle that would allow you to step down to $50,000 or $60,000 a year, you have so much potential to live above your means at that point. You're not a slave to the things that you own and the lifestyle that you've built, because these big lifestyles are most likely going to be taken away at some point for some reason in some fashion, whether that be inflation or higher taxes or really just the job market crashing and all of a sudden the incomes can't keep up with those financial responsibilities. Being able to produce so much more than you consume and be happy in that, that's actually buying your freedom. You're not buying freedom with the money that you have. You're buying freedom with the money that you don't have to spend. Because if you're buying freedom with the money that you have, you're just rebranding buying your misery. There's nothing wrong with nice things or great houses or cars or anything else. But there is something wrong with being poor to those things, being a slave to those things. And if your job, as it is today, were to just disappear into thin air, having to sell the house, get rid of the car, no matter what situation that you're in, underwater or not, that's a real risk for a lot of people. And especially if you're young at this point in time, you have a chance to build a life that insulates you from that. It's all about the habits that you form. It's all about what life you're trying to chase. Because if you're chasing happiness, happiness can't be bought. It's a strategy, it's a mindset. If you try to buy it, you're just paying up front for misery. So, yeah, let me know what you think. I'd love to hear it. What are some of the things that you've done that you'd like to share with other people that have you thought you were doing well, but it actually just bought you misery and heartache in the end? What are those things that you would warn the young people around you to just watch out for? I hope you're doing well. I hope that this finds you in a good place, not trying to dig yourself out of a miserable hole. But we really do appreciate you coming to the channel, spending a little time here, just listening. These are rants and raves. I really am trying to do some things to make these a little bit better, a little bit more digestible, a little bit more personal. And anything that you can do to support the channel, whether that's just like, subscribe, comment, and engage with the community, go check out our website or pick up a copy of the book, Life of Compounding Interest. You can see all of that stuff at lifeofcompoundinginterest.com. We really do hope to see you in the next one. And until then, please take care.